What's going on, guys? My name is Dynasty. What I got for y'all today is another Dynasty Q&A video. This is episode number 8. Can you believe that's crazy? It's been like a week or so since our last video, so I said, hey, gotta give you another Q&A episode. So here it is right here, of course. If you guys ever want to take part inside this Q&A series, all you gotta do is tweet me a Mortal Kombat related question using the hashtag DynastyQnA. From there, if the question's good enough, it might get featured in a video like this. Got like 6 or 7 questions and answers, so if that's said, let's get into it. Our first question is coming from Jurassic Luna, and they ask, hey Dynasty, do you think Ghostface could have a chance in Mortal Kombat X or a future Mortal Kombat game? Boy oh boy, the guest character questions return! I swear every video we cover this, but Ghostface, if you guys don't know who Ghostface is, pretty much he is the villain in every Scream movie. I believe now Scream has a TV series on MTV, so I'm pretty sure he might be the villain in there as well. But Scream, yes, Ghostface. I know where this is stemming from. It's probably coming from this tweet a couple weeks ago from Ed Boon. Check this out. Somebody actually sent this to Ed Boon saying, let's make it happen, and his response was interesting, of course, an image of Ghostface straight out of Kombat Pack 2. And this is just another troll from Ed Boon, man. I cannot see Ghostface inside Mortal Kombat. For starters, there's not really too much substance behind the character, and all honesty, all it is a regular dude wearing a costume with an awesome mask who walks around with a kitchen knife. So if we're gonna get technical and try to break down who Ghostface could be or how he's gonna fight inside Mortal Kombat X, yeah, what would his variations be apart from just having a knife? You know what I mean? I really can't see anything too crazy or in-depth with Ghostface, so because of that, I can't see him being inside Mortal Kombat X. Trust me, it'd be cool to see him in a fighting game. I just don't think he'd be fitting inside a Mortal Kombat game where it's super technical, super in-depth. It just wouldn't make sense. So unfortunately, man, I'm sorry, Ghostface is probably never going to be inside a Mortal Kombat game, but hey, I might be wrong. Dynasty's been wrong in the past, so great question, man, and on to the next. Snake King Skater asks, do you think Liu Kang's old man costume in the Player 2 colors could be a Hornbuckle Easter egg? This is a pretty awesome question, and if you do not know who Hornbuckle is, prepare for a little history lesson here, so let's get into it. Okay, back in the day, Mortal Kombat 2, you had the Pit 2. Inside the Pit 2 in the background, there is these two guys fighting. One of those guys we now know as Blaze, while the other goes by the name of Hornbuckle after several references from past Mortal Kombat games. Well, Hornbuckle was fighting Blaze in the background. Blaze, obviously a man on fire. Hornbuckle ended up being a palette swap of Liu Kang rocking green and black, and I think even white colors. So it's pretty much Liu Kang fighting Blaze, but Liu Kang is Hornbuckle. So, in Mortal Kombat X, if you select the primary costume for Liu Kang and pick the Player 2 colors, there is a tint of green when he is rocking that skin. Pretty interesting. So I think it might be an Easter egg. I'm not really sure if I can give you a yes or no. I'll let you guys decide. It is really interesting. If anything, it's a nice little nod or reference to Hornbuckle from the guys over at NetherRealm Studios. And even if it's just a coincidence, take advantage of this damn coincidence. Go into ranked lobbies, pick the secondary color for his primary costume, be like, yeah, man, I just beat you with Hornbuckle. Anyways, great question, man, and on to the next. Buttermaster8 asks, if the female in the Kombat Pack 2 isn't Sindel, who do you think it's going to be? Okay, so I kind of just wrote down a small little list of every female character that made an appearance in some form related to like Mortal Kombat X, if it was a cameo appearance, a comic book appearance, and this is what I got. So at the top, because she's an NPC, you got Sindel, you got the cameo characters like Frost, Serena, and even Li Mei. You also got the comic book appearances of Scarlet, then you got another nice little wildcard character, dun 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 dun! Chameleon, yeah, she does make an appearance inside the mobile version of Mortal Kombat X as a support card. Check this out. Bam! You can see she's rocking what appears to be like a Jade attire, which is really interesting. I swear, man, NetherRealm just hates Jade, unfortunately. But those are my like list of characters, female characters anyway, who I think we'd see as like a DLC character in the future. It wasn't really in any particular order. It could be any one of those. I'm not gonna say like Sindel has a higher chance than, you know, some other certain character. Who knows really? But if I had to choose, it'd be out of, you know, that list just because we've actually seen them related to Mortal Kombat X in some sort of way. Anyways, great question, and on to the next. Bane W93 asks, if we didn't sign the petition to have Tremor in Mortal Kombat X, who do you think would be taking his place/slot? This is actually an awesome question, especially if you consider the fact that if it wasn't for that petition and the whole community going behind that and signing that and getting the attention of NetherRealm Studios, we would have had someone else inside this game. So who would that character have been? Well, I'm gonna say it would have probably been Rain. Indeed, the half-god, half-man would have probably made an appearance inside the game, because check out what it states here on the Mortal Kombat Wiki. It says Rain was considered to be on the Mortal Kombat X playable roster, but he didn't make the cut. There is also a conversation that a really good friend of mine had with one of the guys that works in NetherRealm Studios. Check this out. He did ask, so Rain was thought about being on the main roster. Why did you guys scratch him when he played a pretty big role? And Brian Chard's response is, all I can say is lots of factors go into deciding the roster. Now, the real question is, okay, is that the main roster? Is that the overall roster? Who really does know? If Trevor was not a DLC character and Rain was considered to be on the main roster at one point, I could see where another one would have just slipped him in there because it kind of would have made sense, especially if he didn't make the cut. You know what I mean, originally. So that's my personal opinion. I think Rain would have been that one character that might have made an appearance. If not, it probably would have been Baraka, just because he's such an iconic character in the franchise. Spoiler alert, he's dead now, so it would have been cool to have him go out with a bang, though he didn't really have much of a role in the campaign. I mean, he does have a fan following, so I'd say it was probably a toss-up between those two, and hell, why not Fujin? You know what I mean? Fujin, Baraka, and Rain, all those guys, I think make sense to be inside Mortal Kombat X. But, unfortunately, as of now, they're not inside the game. Anyways, great question, man. On to the next. Confirmed Derp asks, do you think the pit will have stage fatalities or brutalities? This is a really great question because a lot of you guys ask me this and a lot of you guys ask Ed Boon this. So, give you my 2 cents. Obviously, I think a brutality makes more sense just for the fact that we've not seen stage fatalities in this game. All we got are obviously stage fatalities. Just looking at the brutality on the Cove, I'm such a huge fan of that because it reminds me so much of the classic pit fatality you saw back in the early Mortal Kombat installments. All you gotta do is literally an uppercut and hold down the left trigger, and just like that, you finish off the game like that. Your opponent falls into the water, gets their ass right back up, and you can see their bodies like mutilated. It looks fucking sick, really awesome. My favorite brutality in the game is the stage brutality, and it's the Coves. It's really easy to pull off, and it's efficient because the payoff's there. Seeing your opponent get their ass chewed by these piranhas or whatever in the water is so sick. If they put that inside this brand new pit stage, I'm all down for it, but if there was a time to make an exclusive stage fatality for a certain map, it would be the pit. Obviously, the difference would be is you'd have a lengthier button combination to press, and you might see a cinematic or two just like you saw in Mortal Kombat 9. So all we can do is wait, time will tell. I can pretty much guarantee that we're going to see either a stage fatality, which seems more likely, or a stage fatality. So get excited, get hyped. I'm pretty sure they're going to do something really awesome for this unique DLC stage. Great question, on to the next. Souls of Many asks, do you think 3D Mortal Kombat may return in Mortal Kombat 11? Hashtag Dynasty QnA. Oh, the glory days on the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox. 3D Mortal Kombat. Do I think it'll ever return? And it's, you know, obviously we have 3D Mortal Kombat right now, but it's on a 2D fighting plane, so he means like classic 3D fighting planes where you can move all around the stage. Do I think it's a return to Mortal Kombat 11? Probably not, man. Mortal Kombat 9 was fantastic. Mortal Kombat X is fantastic, so they really have no reason to go back and do what they were doing in the early 2000s. And in all honesty, I think it was just kind of that era in the early 2000s. For some odd reason, it seemed like every fighting game was like a 3D fighter. If that makes any sense, because if you go back and you think about it, I mean, around the time Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, Mortal Kombat 4, all the classic 3D Mortal Kombat games made their debuts, there was games like Tekken, there was games like Dead or Alive, there were games like Soul Calibur. There was such a humongous market back then for like these 3D fighters. So I think it was just one of those things where back in the day, everybody was doing it. So NetherRealm or Midway at the time was like, fuck it, we'll do it too. Hence why you had 3D fighters for Mortal Kombat. Now let's move on to our final question. I'm being asked right here from Cade Roberts. What is the worst Mortal Kombat game you've ever played? And without a doubt, Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe was the worst Mortal Kombat game I've ever played. Anyways, hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe. Of course, you guys do know if you ever want to take part in this series, simply tweet me using the hashtag DynastyQnA. Ask me any Mortal Kombat related question. If the question's just good enough, it might get featured in a upcoming Dynasty Q&A video. Anyways, till next time, guys, I've been your host. I've been Dynasty, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.